Hi all, right, welcome back to Labyrinth, playing the extended campaign. So this is part, I think it's 14. I've just come up here, computer's not on, I can't remember where it was at to be honest. I think I just done 13 earlier this morning, so got a little bit of time, but I don't know how much to be honest. So trying to catch up. I've got 3 cards left. They've got 3 cards left. But I'm pretty sure it's me to go. Well, they would have had 9 cards. I would have had 8 cards. 3 and 3. Did I discard one? I guess I'm looking at the 2 cards on top of the discard pile. Unless I've been mucking about, were these 2? I'm pretty sure that was their 2 last card plays, wasn't it? You should probably double check this. I say I'm just waiting for my computer booting up, so I'm trying to keep it a little quiet as well because it's a bit later at night. Okay, so there was I noticed one comment. Let's talk about that when my computer's coming up. I played. Was it Backlash? No. Is it Backlash? No. It's a 1-up. No. Grant, it's not a 1-ups card, it's a 2-ups card. So, let's look again. Wiretapping. No, it's not that. Right, where the heck is it? Further down. I don't know if I messed about with the discard pile or not, but it's one of the ones that allows you to use an ops instead of, or like, it allows you to, oh, hang on, this might be further back than I thought. Predator? No, it's not Predator. Okay, wait till I pause the camera. Okay, I think I've got it. Intel Community. So it was quite far down. So, of course, this is part 14 I'm doing. I want to say this comment was, I'm forgetting that I'm way ahead of everything. Being part 14, and I think I just released part 10 just earlier this evening. And I think this comment was on part 9, so yeah, it would be a while ago. But it was Tim said, was there any reason that I didn't use this? I want to say I used it for the ops, but I only needed 1 ops from it, so it was a waste. I'm not sure what it was. Could it have been the Scandinavia thing? When it was good in Scandinavia and we wanted to try and make it soft. It might have been that. But anyway, I only needed the 1 ops. And I used this for 2 ops, and obviously his comment was, this doesn't happen. This inspects Jihadist's hand. If you look at the event table, it says that doesn't happen. But when you play the card, okay, that doesn't happen, but I only needed 1 ops. And it says conduct a 1 value operation. And then also, I may interrupt this action phase now by playing an extra card. So I would have been able to play this for the event, still getting the 1 ops that I wanted. Okay, we weren't doing the Jihadist hand, but I then may have wanted to play an extra card. And I didn't think about it at the time, so it's kind of skipped by me. So, but Tim had picked up on that, and I was like, yeah, fair enough. I didn't realise that. Now, whether I wanted to play an extra card or whether it was that important or not, I'm not so sure. But yeah, okay. So just catching up where my computer's up and running now. What had happened? They were the last 2 cards, and the last thing the bot did was plotted in the US. I want to say it attempted it twice and it succeeded with the second one, was it? Or there was a radicalization point left over, yeah, and I think it only rolled 1 dice and got a 1. So we've got a terror plot up there that we can remove for 3, a 3 ops. However, we have no reserves at the moment, but we would need to use well, a combination of 2 of these cards to get that 3 ops to remove that. And I want to say we did have a look at it and we weren't too concerned up until we read this very last, no, in fact the middle part. Because it's in the United States, so if an unblocked pot goes off in the United States, if it was a WMD, it's an instant win. But we know there's no WMDs in play yet. So if it's not WMD, funding to 9, it's at 9. Don't care about that. Let's skip by the middle one just now. Roll Prestige. Jumping down here. Our Prestige is way down at 1, so don't care about that. However, the one that we do care about is roll US Posture, and that's going to come before the Prestige roll, I think. And if we happen to roll hard there, we're going to get a -1 modifier on a Prestige roll as well. But this is then it's going to be horrible. Oh, and hold on. Are we not getting a negative modifier anyway? Yes, because it's US. We're doing a US posture. We're going to roll in the US posture. And if we look at that, it says, and I didn't trigger to this as well, procedure roll a dice. If setting US posture, +1 to the roll. So, and because we want to be soft, +1 to the roll is not good. It's going to be a 50-50. Whereas normally it's, 66-33 in it. So, that's a worry, that one. And then, of course, if we end up going hard, then we're moving it in the next turn, needing to try and go soft again, having to spend 2 3-ops cards again to go soft. So it really sort of feels like we should stop this pot going off, I think. I think it's fine cards-wise, because I think I said, well, this isn't playable. This is playable and would knock their funding, and I was hoping to do that to their funding and then that to their funding to get them down to 7, and then the end of the turn they drop down to 6, which is then in the moderate box. But well, I can't keep both of these cards if I'm going to what is the term to the pot? What is it called again? Alert. If I'm going to alert that pot, let me just see. 7.5. Well, actually 8.56. Just to make sure the order and how I'm pretty sure it's going to be funding goes up, roll posture, roll prestige, because that's how it's got written down. 8.5.6. Yeah, it's down here, isn't it? That's kind of written in a bit different way. If a WMD pot in US, jihadist 1, okay. He chooses the order. Well, remember you're playing solo here. Let me just see if there's any structure to the unblocked plots going on the solo side of things. I don't think there's anything I've read in there regarding how to deal with unblocked plots. Not in the new solo rules anyway. Could it be... Well, if it's in the old solo rules, I shouldn't really be concerning myself with that, should I? At the end of each US action phase, the jihadist player must reveal and resolve any plot markers that remain in any countries. He chooses the order. Resolution is as follows. Well, yeah, I guess it's just a random... we've only got one plot there anyway. I can't really see anything that talks on the solo side of things about resolving ports. Okay, so in the rules it says funding first. Well, there's a victory check first. There's no WND ports, so that's fine. Then funding, where's the one that says the US? So for no, it's a WND. Oh no, okay. So for a WND pot in a non-Muslim country or any pot in the US, set funding to 9. So that's the first thing. I'm guessing that this is a resolution as follows. So you've got to do it step by step. So then the posture does come next. It says, if the pot is in a non-Muslim country, including the US, roll the country's posture. And if WMD in a 2-player game, Jadis side may re-roll this result, but that doesn't apply. So we do funding, then posture, and then over the page we're going to see prestige, I guess. So if the target country is troops, lower prestige by 1. If in the US, make a prestige roll. So that is what's going to happen. I mean, I could take my chances, but it's 50-50 on our posture. I don't think this is worth the gamble, is it? And like I've just said, all I'm going to save myself, really... well, if I let the pot go off, what I'm going to do is hit their fund in there, which is good, don't get me wrong, it takes it down to 7, and then end of turn it goes down to 6, which means they're only going to get 8 cards next turn, so it's good. We would get a +1 to a prestige there. Now, I suppose you never know. We could get lucky. I want to say we need to roll a 6 for a prestige to go up the way. So, if we let the pot go off, so good luck with that one, Grant. And then this is not playable. So we'd be playing that for 2 ops. We'd be playing that for event. Playing that for event, I think. And like I say, however, if we block the pot, I'd have to take these 2 cards to block the plot. This will still go off. +1 prestige, -1 funding. And then remember, the pot will do nothing. So we'll set the funding at 8, then they'll drop to 7 at the end of turn. I mean, that is not as good, but it's less risky. And it's probably what I should be doing, I think. Right, okay, sorry. I was on a little pause there. Just once my computer got up and running, just wanted to check. I had 5 comments on my videos and I was starting to panic. Like, oh no. Because the more comments there is, generally the more trouble that I'm in and I've done mistakes and whatever. So no, that isn't the case, although a few things. So just a few comments. The one, I've not got them up in front of me here. We had a situation where I had to randomly discard a card, and I wasn't sure if I was allowed to know which card it was I was discarding. And it sort of felt like you would know, because if you're playing 2-player, you would probably hold your hand out like that with your cards facing you, and the opponent would take the card and you would see the card that was going away. And Tim did say, comment that, yeah, you should absolutely get to know what card it is. And he says, in fact, I would have rolled with the cards face up, so you could see the card that we were getting. It wasn't probably a huge big deal, but it might have had an effect, because it might have changed what I wanted to do before that card was then played by the bot. So fair enough. I guess I like to play these things safe, just in case I'm getting it wrong. Another one that springs to mind is Somalia is not adjacent to Saudi Arabia. Jean picked up on this. It didn't have an effect, but I was talking about the fact that we had troops in Somalia. Well, you can see we do at the moment, actually. One of the cards... Yeah, that must have been previous turn, yeah. Because like I say, this is going back a bit. One of the cards we had previously was Saudi Arabia. If there's troops in Saudi Arabia or an adjacent country, and I'd spoke about possibly wanting to put troops down in Somalia, as I've actually done, and I suggested that it was adjacent. But like rightly, he points out there's no line connecting Somalia to Saudi Arabia. As to Yemen and the Gulf states, I think the Gulf states had the troops as well, which was the problem. But he did, yeah, I did speak wrongly of that, so thanks for that. What was the other couple of things? Yeah, well, it's in my head. I've not replied to this comment actually, and I will reply to this. But this is definitely, I'll look back and I spoke about this before, and Tim has commented again about the fact that when this could bring up some debate, I guess, because Jean believes that where are we? Where's Jihadist videos? There was the card, and it says US then use recruit and travel to priorities. That's all it says. I mean, my take on that originally was recruit and travel to priorities. We start here, and I've been over this a few times. So we start here, go through there, and then we go here. And John commented way back there that he didn't believe we should look here first, that we should go here. And the reason he gave was that it didn't say the word flowchart. But I mean, the initial argument to me was it didn't say the word table either. So, and he even openly admitted it didn't say the word table in it. So, I mean, I'm still, and Tim has commented on this, that he says he sees nothing that within the rules and within any of this, where are we, Jihadist videos, that suggests that you would go straight to the table here rather than the flowchart part of this. The one thing I did find, and this is obviously not in play yet, this is the Forever War events, and you know, I mean, okay, this is different, but this event here says use recruit and travel to priorities, and it's got the op P there in brackets. Now, don't get me wrong, the Jihadist videos doesn't have the op P. But you can see that the op P is this and not this. So I'm going to stick by that. Whether, John actually has asked this question to the designer, hasn't he? Forgot about that. And maybe I brought this up. Sorry if I'm repeating myself. Okay, sorry if I'm repeating myself. But I guess it was because Tim just brought it up again recently that he couldn't see any reason why it should be. And I was just trying to explain that that's what John's belief was. And yeah, I look back on his comment, and my understanding is that the reason he believes it to be true, because I asked him, I says, unless you've got any proof, I says, I can't really see it, and I'm going to have to go with the flowchart first. And he says he didn't have any proof as such, but he did comment that I believe that the automated bot had, now I might be getting that wrong, but I think he said that the automated bot had looked at it that way, had just went straight to the priorities table. But okay, we'll leave that one for now. Like I say, he couldn't have been 100% sure himself, because he then went and sent this question off to the designer. Right, there might have been another couple of things, but I can't think what they were. Okay. Right, I thought I better just grab the other three. There's another three comments just to talk about quickly that I don't have in front of me. Just jump back to the computer. One was I was happy about the UK going soft at the time, and like John pointed out, was that if we do end up going hard again, which is quite possible, we maybe don't want all these soft countries out there. So fair point. Maybe you need to think about that, because you could switch between hard and soft, as we've done, and we're even contemplating taking a posture role here and just letting this plot go off. The other one was the card that allowed me to put one reserve for the Jihadist bot, the one that said that you played the event and then you used the ops and it was you treated it as unplayable, and I wasn't 100% sure about keeping the op. Tim comments and makes a good argument to say that yes, you would get the op. I've not got the words in front of me. So we did that right. And then finally, what was the last one? Damn it. Yeah, okay, so finally, Jean confirming that he, talking about the radicalization travel, and I had said that Adam, the physical bot designer, had confirmed things. That wasn't quite the case. It'd only been, and how Adam had posted things, it matched up with how he was looking at it. Right, I'm making a mess of that. But there wasn't any actual clarification, confirmation from Adam regarding that situation. So there's maybe we'll get a bit more to that yet. But I'm certainly going to play it as that for now, and we'll see what happens. Okay. 20 minutes. I think I have to stop this pot. I just don't want to be rolling a 50-50 chance on this. Really. I'd like to have the chance at this, but remember, I've just said it's going to be a 6. If it's not a 6, it's staying exactly where it is. So you've got a 1 in 6 chance. And there's a 50-50 chance of this going wrong. And this is just to save what? Well, to give you another 2 ops operation and get -1 funding. Nah, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to play alert. So, 7.5. I'm not sure. I need to look up this, but I suppose we've not done it before. So 7.5. Actually, I probably read it recently, didn't I? When the poll came up. Requires a 3-value card, regardless of governance, and you may include reserves in that, which is what I'm going to have to do actually. Allows the US side to select, reveal, and block, remove 1 port marker from any country, including an adversary or Iran. I'm not going to reveal it if we do this because there's no real point, and then it just means I've got to shuffle up the port markers again. US player may inspect the port marker only after selecting it. If a WMD port, remove it from the game, otherwise return it to the face down available ports pile. And because we're playing with the bot, these just get randomly selected. Yeah, and if we don't do this now, well, then the pot's going to go off. So, okay, I'm going to do it. Right, so I'm going to play this and put the 2, for the ops, and put the 2 ops in reserves for my first card play. And then I'm going to play this for the ops and take the reserves to get 3 ops in total to basically remove that pot. So I'm just going to take it, not going to look at it like I say, and we're just going to put it back in that spot because we've never looked at it. And I'm going to roll a dice when it comes to selecting them again anyway. My 2 cards are done. None played for event, just going to discard pile. I've only got 1 card left. So I don't know. I mean, I was tempted, but I think when I found out we were getting a -1 on this, because it was US posture roll, and that's what just made me step back and say, no, this is silly, Grant. Yeah. For what it was going to benefit us, don't get me wrong, if we had rolled a 6 on that, it would have been worth it, but what are the chances? Okay, I was hoping to maybe just push on and try and finish this turn, but I think I'm going to run out of time, and it's probably a better place to leave it here. They've got 3 cards left. We've only got the 1. We're more than likely playing this for the event, which is going to set Jordan to fair ally. Jordan's not been tested yet, so that's a good thing. And then +1 prestige, -1 funding. Both they things are good as well. Pretty good card actually. So probably going to play that for event, but they're going to have a shot before that. I remember that was my second card play, so now we would actually go to the resolve plots, and this is where this plot would get resolved. But the fact is, in the US, you can see that, yeah, that's bad, and we need to get these cells out of there. So that's another thing to think about. They are both active now, but because the US is soft, it's only going to affect one cell, so I need 2 single one-ops cards to do 2 separate disrupt operations to remove the 2 cells. And that's the other horrible thing about being soft, which I didn't quite realise at first, is because if we were hard right now, it would only take 1 ops to remove both these cells. You know, they are active. I don't know if you can quite see that, but they are active. But anyway, so there's no reports to resolve, so it goes back to card 1 of the next action phase for the jihadist player, and I'm 26 minutes in there, but yeah, I'd like to play on and finish the turn, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to get run out of time, and it's a better idea to just stop it here, and I come back tomorrow morning and finish this turn off, and we'll see what happens. So yeah, but this will just be on pause, and I'll add the next one to the back of this tomorrow sometime. Okay, cheers. Hi all. Right, back to continue. Part 14, I think it is. Whatever I said at the beginning there, this is next day. And I did only get, well, let's say we're about 27, 28, sort of half an hour-ish, aren't we? Somewhere about there. So yeah, so hoping to get 2-3 bits done today, fingers crossed. Before back to work tomorrow, and things will dry up again a bit. So, what have I done? I've released part 10, this is 14. I'm watching back part 11 just now, so still no major errors being brought up, so that's always good. I commented on, I did get, I think I said last night when I come up the stair, just briefly, I had 5 comments on my videos, which was a wee bit concerning, but nothing that, just a bit of this and that. I might not have mentioned this one. This is from part 8, Tim, at the 51-minute, 20-second mark. They use the term, if any Islamist rule, to mean any country is at Islamist rule. See regional Al-Qaeda. That must be, is that an event then? In this case, it just refers to Yemen. And it's when I'm talking about I think it was test Yemen and do something to it unless it's Islamist rule. And I suppose it's just the way the word I'm pretty sure it's just a grant thing that sort of thinks, is it any Islamist rule or is it the actual country it's Islamist rule? And to be honest, I think in that case it's probably reasonably clear, like I say, to most folk. Yeah, that was that. I think that was the only one that I missed. Yeah, Somalia is not adjacent to Saudi Arabia. That was Jean that picked that one up. Yeah, fortunately I didn't do anything regarding that, but it is not adjacent. There's no connection between the two. Yeah, he didn't get an answer from Adam. Okay. There was one other one where he commented on my going over the priorities table. I'm not going to go through that thread, but yeah, I'll leave that one to. There's a bit in that. Anyway, so right, the most recent then from last night, this morning. Interestingly, both Tim and John. Well, Tim's posted the comment in my YouTube video. And I actually got a message from Jean. I think the message came through first, to be honest, so I think he beat you to the post there, Tim. But interestingly, they're both talking about the same thing here. At least I believe it's the same thing. So I guess strange how they both come up with it at the same timing. Great minds think alike, I suppose. So anyway, this is Tim's comment from the YouTube. I'll read that first because that's what I've got up. This is not related to this video, which is it's commented on part 10. So not related to this video, but I wanted to let you and your viewers know that I found this response from Adam Zam regarding how the bot deals with GTMO when the flowchart leads you to recruit. So this is not making sense to anybody that might be not watch the previous video. There's an event called GTMO that doesn't allow you to recruit. That's basically what the event does, I think. So and then it caused a bit of trouble in my previous video, because when you come down the track and you end up with recruit, I mean, what do? So initially, granted, I've been looking at the old rule book for the solo bot, foolishly. However, it mentions what to do when you get to GTMO. It just says basically you carry out a travel, which coincidentally is there. If you didn't, if you have a cell available, you recruit. If you didn't have a cell available, you travel. Thing is, you've got a cell available, but you're not allowed to recruit. So I think most folks take on it, I think, you just go that way instead. And now I've wound myself around to doing that if I got to sell available, and although I wanted to recruit, what Tim brought up here was you do want to recruit, so why, there's nothing stopping you from going to that box. However, there is something stopping you from carrying out the recruit. You should just carry out radicalization instead. I did start doing that in the previous playthrough, but I'm not sure if that was right or not. Really, we didn't have a direct answer. We didn't have it all clear. I want to say Jean came along and he said that no, there's a cell available, but you're not able to recruit. So you come back to here and you say no to this and go travel. Well, like I say, the event and the old rules told you to actually do the travel, so maybe there's some logic in that, However, let's get around to what did Adam... This is like a previous comment somewhere on BGG, I guess. So Adam says, good question. I should have made a GTMO note. Yes, you should have. Because in the flowchart, in the events table, they've got all these events about what you do. Is there not something about GTMO? There it's there. If US prestige is low, treat is unplayable. There should be more to this. That's the other thing I asked on the cut. The event says, is it a role prestige they do? Or, I can't recall exactly, but anyway, obviously if their prestige is low, it's not beneficial for the bot to play that. Well, the big thing about this is, it's not beneficial to the bot to play this anyway, because it stops recruiting. I don't understand why the bot would even want to play that card. I mean, it does, if he can hit the US prestige, maybe that's more important, but the rest of the turn, because it's a lapsing event, it sits in play the rest of the turn. It doesn't allow the bot to recruit the rest of that turn. So it seems strange that they would want to play that. Anyway, well, maybe that's what he's said here, maybe. He should have made a GTMO note, because the available definition of TWOT, what is that? And 12.3.2, what's TWOT standing for then? The War on Terror must be. Right, so because the available definition of the War on Terror plus 12.3.2 is probably best interpreted as your third option, radicalization. Well, there you go. We've just been talking about that. So, third option, radicalization. So you can't recruit. What's the first part? See, 12.3.2 is talking about recruiting or placing cells. Well, I suppose with GTMO in effect, if you come to recruit, it says when an event instructs to recruit. Well, sorry, I'm getting this wrong. It's not the GTMO event that wants to do the recruit. What it is GTMO is a lapsing event in play, and then the next time the bot plays another operation, it might quite likely come down to recruit, and then it can't because GTMO is in effect. That's it. So I'm not quite sure what we're following there. That's recruit, and it's saying the third option, radicalisation. Radicalisation is mentioned in there if it can't do the other thing. So, and I think maybe this is where Tim got is thinking from that. You shouldn't just come to this box and say, well, right, well, it wants to do that, but it can't, so let's go back. I mean, I don't know, maybe some folk do think. I think the majority of people actually do think that that's what you should do. Let's finish this off. So it's probably best interpreted as the third option, radicalisation. And then he finishes, while GTMO is in effect, the jihadist bot will play as if no cells are available. So continue on the Evo instead of going straight to radicalisation. So I think what he's saying here is the way it's written, this would take you to radicalisation, but what he should have added was that when it comes to here and asks ourselves available with GTMO in effect, it should say no and go to travel. So it does sound like the majority would probably played it that way. And I think John was correct in his belief that that's what it should do. Let me just see his. Like I say, I got a message from. I think the message came in last night just as we were going to bed, and then Tim just commented on it this morning, which is quite, like I say, a bit coincidental. But I don't know how they both managed to come across this thread. It's not that it's a new thread or anything. Right, let me just get this up. Give me a second. Right, so the comment, that I got from John last night, she sent me a message on BGG. Hi Grant, not relevant to the current playthrough. They're even using the same start to their sentence, which is even more, anyway. Not relevant to the current playthrough. Yeah, anyway, he says, because it may become soon, who knows. We've not seen the GTMO card go by, I don't believe. I don't recall it anyway. Now, obviously it depends who draws the card, and it depends if the event's playable and whatever like that. But anyway, we might see it. He says, but I stumbled on another old post from Adam clarifying how to operate the bot in case GTMO is in play. And it says, how to play. Rules as intended. While GTMO is in effect, the jihadist bot will play as if no cells are available. So continue on the Evo instead of going straight to rad. Yeah, that's just what Tim had said, so that must just be quoted. Here's the whole thread. And he's got in brackets, and you'll see that radicalisation is indeed how he would read his own rules as written. Okay. Big smiley face there. I would have liked to put that as a comment in one of your videos, but as I can't provide links in my comments, probably better to send you this message so that you can mention it when GTMO will come into play in your extended campaign. Right, okay. Well, thanks both of you for bringing that to attention. I don't think there's much in the thread when I click on it. There was only a couple of comments, if I recall. Yeah, it was basically just a question and an answer. And the answer, I've just read it out. The question is how you deal with GTMO. Basically, it's got three options. That's why it's saying third option. Okay, let's look at the whole thread. So there's the question. And he's given three options. If GTMO is in effect and the bot arrives at a decision to recruit, does the bot ignore all attempts to recruit and defers to the opposite flowchart box, which would be travel, right? Okay. Ignore GTMO's effects. So I don't know how you would deal with that, because it can't recruit. So that means carry out recruit. I wouldn't have thought of that one. Or arrive at the recruit box but automatically radicalise ops. So number one is what I think most people would look at. You know, you get to recruit and then you go back and go to travel, the opposite box. And however, the bottom one is the way that Tim brought it up, I think, and the way that I started feeling that I like that idea better than that one. But I think we're reverting back to the So basically, what Adam's saying here is that the rules are basically probably best interpreted to do radicalisation, the third option there. But, and this is all that we needed, basically, so in some ways Tim's right in thinking, look, going by the rules it should radicalise. But then he's just brought up this is basically what should be an errata. While GTMO is in effect, Jadis Bot will play as if no sales are available. So continue on the evil instead of going straight to radicalisation. So it would then go back to travel. Right, okay. Right, thanks for that, guys. Well, I've mentioned it there, so... I don't know how to do that, actually. Yeah, and we'll see if the event comes up. But, I always did say that I felt like something more should be said about how to deal with that event. It just seemed a bit strange that the bot would even want to play it. But anyway. And quickly, finally, actually, Tim had sent me a couple of messages as well. He started the game up, been playing the game. I think he's got it finished now. Just a one deck scenario though, but yeah, I mean, everybody plays quicker than me. And I think he was just short of a win at the end. What to say, he had 8 good resources, but unfortunately the bot just sneaked up to 5 resources in the last turn, I think. And if you're just playing the one deck, you need to have more than double the resources of the bot to win. So must have been quite close though, Tim. So good stuff. Hope you enjoyed it anyway, at least. Okay, so back to my game. So I was just catching up there. The last thing we done was we decided to remove the pot from the US. I did swither on, I thought about it quite a bit. I didn't really want to do it. Just the worry was that I might have ended up going back to hard posture again, which would have been a nightmare. So I've got 1 card left, and probably just going to play this for event. It's a decent event. Set Jordan to fair ally. +1 prestige, -1 funding. Their funding's at 9, so yeah. But if we get down 1 there, and then they go down 1 at the end of turn, so yeah. I've just realised that it's +1 prestige as well, which takes us up to 2, but because it's an Islamist ruled country, it's just going to go back to 1 again. So, you know what? Mind you, setting Jordan to fair ally sounds pretty good as well. Fair ally, Oh, one thing I was forgetting about, but I don't think we've had the chance to do anything. We did get Afghanistan good. Well, I see that cell must have went away again, because there was a cell come up here, it must have tried jihad, yeah, but I forgot about my main... I was struggling to try and get Afghanistan good. Not to get the points on the board, but to have an adjacent country to now have a go at, get that extra +1 for like Pakistan and work on it, and then maybe the Gulf States and that. But I don't think I've had the time. I've not had the time and the cards to do these things because I've had to focus elsewhere. Yeah, and Egypt's looking bad, isn't it? Yeah, in fact, we're probably going to see a major jihad attempt right now, aren't we? And the fact is, Bazi's regime, well, would we get lucky twice in the trot? Because it happened in Somalia, but... yeah, was this not the other thing I was thinking about? I could, because it's poor ally Egypt, I could have moved troops there, but... I took the plot away. I don't know, you can't do everything. Okay, right, I'm going to get this turn wrapped up here. And maybe get another bit started before I get the dogs out, and then hopefully get another bit later on. If I'm quick enough. Right, so they've got 3 cards left. So here's their next action phase. Schroeder and Chirac. There's a 2-ops jihadist card. Play if US hard. Well, it's not, so it's unplayable. Set Germany and France is soft, -1 prestige. Well, if we were hard, it would be really pretty bad, wouldn't it? Setting 2 countries to soft. Again, the hit on their prestige does nothing, but anyway, it's not playable because the US is soft and not hard. I mean, if I'd done different in the last turn, let that pot go off, I might well have been sitting hard right now. But anyway. Right, 2 ops available. Just looking up there, there's no reserves available. So that's kind of good, because that means they're going to try the Major Jihad, but only with 2 dice. And now, I know they've got a Busy's Regime marker, but it gives us a slightly better hope. So is it a playable non-US event? It is not. As Major Jihad success at pure possible, it is. Right, so Major Jihad success at pure is possible in Egypt, and they've got a Busy's Regime. 5 more cells and troops. These are all going to go active. They're going to get only 2 dice. It's just a 2 ops card. The country's obviously pure, so it's a 3 or less to succeed. All cells go to active. If they get the result, then all regime change, disease regime, aid markers go away. Add resources to funding, which would be 3. Their fund is at 9 anyway, so major failure. 3 rolls at poor. So this wouldn't be the case. And then again, it's a poor ally anyway, and they've got a besieged regime. So if they fail, nothing's. Well, if they fail, some of the cells are going to go away. No, it's going to be 2 of them are going to go away, because they only need 1 success with the besieged regime. So 2 dice, and we want them both to be above a 3. Here we go. And we fail at 1 and succeed at the other one. Yeah. So 1 cell does go away back to the track. However, this becomes Islamist rule adversary. Let's just jump down there and give them the 3 points for the resources. And their funding would go up by 3, but you can see it's at 9. And we remove the Busy's regime. So I've done all that in a bit out of order, but just coming back. Right, governance for pure Islamist rule. Alignment to adversary, right. Remove all regime change, Busy's regime, and aid markers. Add resources to funding if troops, prestige to 1. Well, it wouldn't matter there if there was troops, so prestige is at 1 anyway. So there we go. Another Islamist rule country. So now we've got 2. Yeah, no, we done regime change, didn't we? Yeah, that's the only one that's there. But again, we're not hard, so we're not going to be able to do anything about it. And that was a 3-pointer for them. So it's not an oil exporter, so it's not going to ever be 4 points. However, that now means that we do have to watch, because obviously the highest resource you can get is 3. So 3 and 3 is 6. That's a win condition for them. So we need to be wary of Gulf states, Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, Malaysia, as these are all 3 ops. Is that the only 3? No, you've got Iraq as well. Iraq's an adversary as well, by the way. So it means we can do nothing in there. So yeah, we need to watch. We need to be careful. No, anyway. Right, that's our first card play. So let's get the second one. Yeah, am I going to get the turn ended here? Okay, Iran. This caused me trouble the last time this card. Right, so it's an unassociated event. Iran, Shia regional power active. Select and well, yeah. I said this before, but they just look. See there are 2 different sort of boxes. This is for the US play, but it's kind of not. And this is for the jihadist player, which this seems complete. This doesn't seem complete. And this select and test the Shia mixed country should be separate. It confuses things right away. I mean, it's maybe not a big deal. Okay. So we're to select and test the Shia mixed country. And then we're going to skip the next bit, because this is not a US played card. If jihadists, we're going to make 2 jihad rules there. We're going to ignore failures or shift to Islamist rule. Did I get... Ah, yeah, because there's 2 of these cards, isn't there? Yeah, so... sorry, I thought I was maybe just talking about it in the previous playthrough, but there's 2 Iran cards, isn't there? You don't remove them or anything, so that's... Yeah, 104 and 105. And then there is a note to this in the events table that says... 104 and 105. Good then fair, use jihad priorities table, that's in table, well it's jihad, they only have a table, to select among multiple candidates. So good then fair, it got me scratching my head all that, and basically it's saying select and test the Shia mixed country there. If we were playing this as a US player, we would just be able to pick a Shia mixed country. If it was marked already, if it had been tested already, we would just remove a cell there. If it had not been tested, we would test it first and then. But for the jihad player, if you were playing this as a jihad player, again, you would get to select and test whatever Shia mixed country you want. What the bot's instructions are, that's why it says good then fair. It wants to select a good country before a fair country to do the 2 die rolls. Oh, this is bad, isn't it? This is going to be Afghanistan, isn't it? Yeah, this looks like another a bad end to the turn. Right, well, it's a playable... now, hang on. Oh, Afghanistan is Shia mix. I was kind of thinking, oh, it might be Sunni, but it's not. It's Shia mix. And apologies if I don't know these things off the top of my head. But, yeah, that's what it is. Well, we've read this event before, haven't we? So I'll maybe not bother going over it again. I suppose we should. It was probably a while ago, and I did say if I was playing the event, so okay. Right, what we got? Iran. With ties to Shia militants throughout the Mideast, traditional enmity towards the Taliban, and a Shia theocracy ultimately incompatible with the Sunni caliphate envisioned by the jihadists, Iran's regime always has the potential for indirect cooperation in the US war on terror, but its counterpoise ambitions for regional hegemony, struggle with that word, and nuclear capability, its historical adversity to Washington, and the threat posed to its regime by democratic ideals has more often led it to undermine US efforts in the region. Okay, I was leaning across there, struggling to try and read that. But right, so select and test the Shia mixed country and then make 2 jihad rules there. Yeah, they've got to make the rules. Yeah, because this is where I blundered. I mean, I looked at the card, I thought about it, and I thought, why ignore failures? So at first I wasn't going to even roll the dice, because it says ignore failures, and these things go in my head. I mean, could it have been written clearer? Did it need to be written clearer? I'll leave that one with you. Probably shaking your head about that second question there. Did it need to be written clearer? And you're probably saying, no, it's fine, I can understand that. And it doesn't say anything about ignoring successes or automatic successes or anything like that. It just says to ignore failures. What threw me was that what does a failure do? And the problem is the country that was selected didn't have any cells there. So what it's saying is if you do fail, the cells are not going to be removed. Whereas what you would normally do with a jihad, you would remove the failed cells that made the roll. So anyway, select and test the Shia mixed country, and the bot wants to pick good then fair countries. What was the next bit that was written? Use jihad priorities table. Well, I don't think we're not going to need that then. So it's going to select a Shia mixed country. Is there any Shia mixed countries that are good? Boom. Right, Afghanistan, yeah. I mean, there's some that are fair as well. I say some when I mean one that's fair, but good comes before fair. Okay? So it's going to make 2 jihad. We don't need to test it because it's already tested. It's going to make 2 jihad rolls there. And the fact that saying ignore failures is going to do nothing because there's no cells there. So, and it won't shift to Islamist rule. Well, two successes here would make it poor. 1 success is going to make it fair. The good thing for me is it's going to roll 2 dice and it needs a 1 on them both, right? So, I've seen the bot roll. In fact, did we not see them roll 3 dice at one point not that long ago, and they were all 1s? Right, so 2 jihad rolls, and a good country needs 1s. A 4 and a 5. Good, okay. So so both of them are failures, which we ignore, but what that doesn't mean is they were both successes. Like Grant sort of took it. And I didn't catch it in time. Tim commented on it to correct me on it before, but I did actually roll the dice. I eventually says, I'm going to roll the dice anyway, and we got the same result, so everyone was fine. And yeah, it makes total sense. It's fine. Okay, so we got away with that one at least. Well, that could have been... If that had went poor there, aye. Even if it went fair, I would have been annoyed, but... Okay, so that's their 2 card plays. Well, this was played for event. This was not, so both of these just go and discard. But I've got my 1 card left. Yeah, and I'm... Just after thinking that the +1 boost to prestige is not going to do me anything. I mean, the -1 fun. Yeah, but I did say setting Jordan to fair ally is pretty good, Grant. Well, what would you do with 2 ops right now? Is there anything that would be really good to do? This needs 3 ops because I want to disrupt in there. Again, that would give me a prestige that I'm just going to lose again. So, yeah, because I maybe didn't think I was going to lose the prestige because we got Central Asia back to... We got a regime change there, didn't we? And now they've just taken Islamist rule here. It's tough. It's tough. And, I mean, I'm going to have to leave this for some time now. And just proceed with the soft stuff. Try and get my prestige up, I guess. Yeah, what am I saying? What would I do with a 2 ops card? Well, the thing is, trying to get my prestige up by 1 at the end of this last phase of the turn for me is not any good because it's going to go to there, and then because it's a Islamist ruled country, it's going to go back down again. So I need to be moving it up more than 1 to make it beneficial. So what else you could do? So I can't do it in Pakistan. I could do a War of Ideas in Gulf States. Where are we? War of Ideas? Yeah, we're minus. Now hold on. No, that's just end of turn stuff, isn't it? That's going to give me a +1 prestige, and then a -1 prestige as well, isn't it? War of Ideas, penalty. There's no penalty. So there's a -1 to the prestige. Yeah. And we'd be going to good. So we would have a -2 against that roll there. So that's rubbish as well. There's not really anything better to do, I don't think. Deployed troops anywhere. Central Asia's poor. Yeah, nah. There's really not anything better I can do. So I'm going to play this for the event. Okay, so King Abdullah. Let's go and have a look at that. Right, King Abdullah, reputedly descended from the Prophet and inheriting the respect earned by his long-reigning father, the Sandhurst-educated Hashemite King of Jordan, wields influence beyond his realm's meagre resources and serves as a credible moderate interlocutor. Some of these words in these, I've never even heard of before, but I mean, I'm not the smartest out there. I'll get you that, but interlocator, it's not locator, interlocutor between West and Middle East. Okay, I'll leave that with you. Maybe someday explain to me what. I mean, I suppose I could Google it, but I'm not going to bother. So King Abdullah, Hashemite Muslim alternative. Set Jordan a fair ally. +1 prestige, -1 funding. So we'll get my prestige while we're down here. +1 for prestige, -1 funding. No, at least that's staying down, isn't it? Well, they've got one card to play yet. And set Jordan a fair ally, which is really good. Fair ally. There we go. Set Jordan a fair ally. +1 prestige, -1 funding. And this card's removed, so when it's played for the event. So that'll be that. Okay, so that goes up the back there at the way. Right, let's get the turn finished, because that's about an hour now, I think. Yeah, but I can finish the turn. Okay, so they've got one card left. Here we go. Hezbollah. Oh, stop, Grant. The Iran card they played, didn't they? That was unassociated. These easy ones to miss. So just jumping back there a second. We played this card for the bot. The first card they played wasn't playable, and it was a jihadist card. This card was playable. They played it for the event. It was unassociated. So remember, that's the wrong side. So remember, was it a playable non-US event? It was, yes. They played the event. Was it unassociated? Yes. Add card value to the jihadist reserve. So the card value was 2. So they're actually sitting with 2 reserves. Yeah, no, that's right. That's right. There was a card before that was 2 ops, but yeah, they done the major jihad and succeeded anyway, didn't they? Okay, so they've got 2 reserves, right? So if they don't use these reserves and this event is played, they won't be adding another 2 because they're maxed out. Okay, so Hezbollah. So if jihadist, Lebanon to pure neutral. It's as simple as that. Is that right? Hang on, card 103. Yeah, there is some text on it. Hezbollah, if adversary or Islamist rule, treat as unplayable. Yeah, so if Lebanon at the moment was sitting in an adversary state, or if it was Islamist rule, they wouldn't be playing this for the event. However, they are going to play it for the event, and they're going to mark Lebanon as pure neutral. Just going to grab that up there just now while I'm... So I think that's all that's happening. And then, well, they would add these 2 reserves as well. Let's get a look at the card, though. That's another one I haven't stretched for. Hezbollah, enduring and effective, the radical Lebanese Shiite group Hezbollah, Party of God, like its patron Iran, is friend to neither the US nor Sunni jihadists. Arch enemy to neighbouring Israel, the group can be counted upon to do what is needed to keep its armed strength within Lebanon, and an impediment to the country's democratic development. With its own cells and international reach, it also has the ability and incentive to curb the growth of anti-Shia jihadism. So Hezbollah, Shia state within a state. If jihadists play, which it is, Lebanon to pure neutral, so it's set in Lebanon at pure neutral, which is probably the most likely outcome of a test in Lebanon, if it was tested, but it wasn't tested at the time, so it means there's another pure country out there, which we might need to check just before the end of this turn, see where we're at with that. What was the US part? If US play, remove a cell from a Shia mixed country within 3 countries of Lebanon. Yeah, I got that in my previous game actually. Okay, so it's just setting the Labyrinth to poor neutral, and that's it. Like I say, they did play that for the event, so they would add the reserves here, but the reserves are at 2. So that's that card done, just gets discarded. Let's just do a little double check on what we've got out there. So Poor and Islamic Rule, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So 7 and 9, but I hadn't marked up Lebanon there, so I think I was right just before that. So that's at 9. Fair, good countries. 1, 2, 3 fair, 1 good. Oh. Yeah, and that was because Jordan, we said Jordan a fair ally, didn't we? I didn't mark that one up. So 1, 2, 3, 4 fair and 1 good. Should be 5, so that should be there. As for resources, we've got 1 from Afghanistan, and they've got 3, unfortunately, from Egypt. So that's that. Okay, end of turn, no more cards left. Let's get this video wrapped up. Right, so -1 to funding. So fortunately, it has gone down. I think, yeah, that was my other thought had been if we'd been able to play that other card to hit their funding, they would have been down in moderate right now and only getting to draw 8 cards. But then that terror pot would have went off. So, you know, I don't know. We could have taken the gamble, but well, we didn't. So -1 prestige if any country under Islamic rule. Yeah, and I don't think I would need to go and look at if there was more than one under Islamic rule. It just says if any country under Islamic rule. So we get a hit on our... Oh, we're going to go back up. Yeah, I went up to 2 because of the Jordan card, didn't it? Alright, okay, that's good then. So that goes down 1. Back down at 1 again. But I'm going to go back up because of that. So just stretching up again. So it says, the next one, +1 prestige. If net world posture is 3 and the same posture as US posture. So that is the case. The net posture of the world is 3 and we are the same as it. So we get a +1 prestige for that. So we are actually up by 1. Still in a bad place, but anyway. Right, I'm jumping about here a bit, sorry. Remove lapsing events as none. Reserves to 0. Well, we're at 0, but remember they don't lose their reserves between turns, so that stays at 2. Deal new hands. Regime change to tan. There is one there, isn't there? So let me switch that across. Let's see, it's one of these rows that doesn't. Well, you can see it would matter if it was the last turn of the game. Whether that's how Tim maybe ended up losing it at the end. Because all they need to do... well, no, even if you carry out a regime change at the end of turn, they're still going to score the points. So, yeah, so regime change to tan, deal new hands. Well, that was the other way about. So I'll get the new hands dealt, and I'm not sure if I'm coming right back just now or not. We've still got the 5 troops to the right, so we're still at war. So 8 cards, and they're hanging on just to still in ample with the 9 cards. So let me get 17 cards here again and deal them out. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, and 9. And I just pull 18 cards. I wasn't far away though. Right, so 8 cards for us. 7, 8, and 9 for them. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right, okay. And yeah, so we'll come back to a new turn. Yeah, it's still looking kind of grim. And yeah, I mean, the prestige is really bad. That was brutal, wasn't it? That was the end of the last turn, wasn't it? It hit our posture and our prestige, didn't it? Right at the end of the last turn. The previous one for this, and I've just never been able to move my prestige. I need to work on that. Right away, I can see a disrupt in Somalia. to get rid of the 2 cells and gain a prestige. I want to say I probably want to try and test a country or two, just to get out of the -1 anyway. You know, I mean, ideally I want to up here. Well, ideally I want to up here, but let's not be too greedy and let's just try and get up to 7. Okay, I'll go and get this bit copied across, I think, first, and then I'll be back soon. Cheers.